Hey guys, what's up? I hope you are all having a really great and fabulous day. My name is Lana and welcome to Power Yoga. Go ahead and spread out your mat, grab yourself something to drink. If you're watching this live right now and it's raining outside, maybe light some candles, turn on your fairy lights, make a really nice chill environment, and get ready to come into our practice. So whenever you have those things set, we're gonna go ahead and come down onto our backs, laying down on the mat, rounding through the spine to bring the back down, extending the legs, and bringing our arms open. They can be straight out or with elbows bent in somewhat of a cactus shape. We spend so much of our time bent over our computer or sitting in our bed, which is pretty much very sedentary nowadays. So we're going to try and open up that chest. Allow those shoulders to go back and release. And just begin to find some stillness. And begin to become aware of your breath. With every exhale, think about releasing the tension in your body and relaxing deeper into the mat. And every inhale, bringing in energy and life, filling the body, and then exhaling completely. Maybe closing your eyes if that feels comfortable. Relaxing your feet, relaxing your ankles, allowing your hips to sink deeper, moving through to the upper back, allowing the shoulders to relax. You find yourself clenching your jaw, maybe slightly opening your mouth, relaxing the face. And just continuing to breathe, maybe consciously beginning to lengthen your exhale. And taking a few more breaths before we begin our practice today. Keeping your eyes closed, on your next inhale, begin to slide the right knee up into the chest, wrapping your arms around it and pulling it in slightly closer. On your next exhale, moving into a supine twist, begin to bring the knee over the midline, over towards the left side of the body. As you extend both arms out, trying to keep your shoulders down on the mat, but not trying to force that knee down. Keeping your eyes closed, maybe turning your head over towards the right side, allowing yourself to deepen this stretch. Again, focusing here on breathing into the belly and attempting to lengthen those exhales. On every exhale, allowing yourself to sink deeper into the twist. Maybe noticing a deeper stretch in the right shoulder. Taking 2 more deep breaths here in this position. And on your next inhale, beginning to bring that knee back into the chest, giving it another little hug. And this time bringing it over towards the right side, kind of bringing it up towards your right underarm. Pulling that knee into the chest closer. Maybe flexing and pointing the toe here. And beginning to take some ankle circles towards the right side. So going clockwise. Continuing to breathe. And on your next exhale, twisting or shifting towards the other way, this time going counterclockwise. And on your next exhale, releasing that leg back down to the mat. And just taking a moment here to notice maybe if that right leg feels a little bit longer, a little bit looser, and a little bit heavier on your mat. On your next inhale, begin to pull the left knee into the chest. Again, wrapping your arms around it and pulling that knee close in. And on your next exhale, making your way into that supine twist by bringing the knee over towards the right side, extending both arms, and maybe turning the head to face those left fingertips. Again, keeping the eyes closed here and still keeping the focus on that breath. Truly filling the belly and allowing it to fall. With every exhale, sinking just a little bit deeper into the mat. Taking 2 more deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, bringing that knee back into the chest. And now just gently bringing it over to the side, trying to point that knee at your underarm. Again, maybe flexing and pointing the toe, warming up that ankle. And beginning to take some ankle circles. On your next exhale, switching positions or directions. And on your next exhale, releasing that leg down. Hopefully feeling that both legs now feel a little bit looser and heavier, a little bit longer. On your next inhale, begin to pull both knees into the chest, gently rocking side to side, massaging that lower back. And on your exhale, gently set the feet on the floor so that the knees are pointing up. Hands can come by the side. We're going to start with a little bit of glute activation. So on your next inhale, begin to squeeze the cheeks, squeeze the legs together, pull in towards the midline, and exhale, release. Nice. Again, inhale, activate the glutes, squeeze the cheeks, pull the knees together, and release. Nice. One more time, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the cheeks, keeping the hips on the mat. And exhale, release. This time we're going to be adding in some elevation, going into a bridge pose. We'll be lifting the hips up. On your next inhale, squeeze the cheeks to lift the hips. Squeeze in towards the midline, squeezing the inner thighs together. And exhale, release. Again, on your inhale, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, pull the inner thighs towards the midline, and release. One more time, inhale, squeeze and lift. Breathing into the belly, lifting up even higher onto the shoulders, and we are going to be staying here for 3 breaths. So continuing to squeeze the cheeks, squeezing in towards the midline. We don't want the knees going out towards the side of the mat. We want them pulling in. Lifting up into the shoulders, breathing into the belly, the rib cage, and the chest to lift it higher. And on your next exhale, releasing all the way down to the mat, knees to the chest once again, rocking side to side, massaging the lower back. Gently beginning to rock forward and back. Go ahead and rock your way up into a seated position, maybe blinking your eyes open. We're going to come into some sideline opening. So on your inhale, reaching the arms up, lengthening through the spine, and exhale over to the right. Side body stretch, reaching that left arm over up towards that ear. Inhale back through center, and exhale over to the left, reaching that right arm over. Again, inhale back through center, taking both of those sides one more time. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back through center, and exhale over to the left. Awesome. Go ahead and come back up through center and release the hands down. We're going to be moving into our tabletop, so placing the hands in front of you and rolling over the knees. We're going to have our shoulders over our wrists, our hips over our knees, fingers spread nice and wide, pressing evenly into all of the fingertips. And we're going to come into some dynamic cat-cows. So on your inhale, filling the belly, sending the hips back and bringing the gaze forward. And exhale to round through the spine, release the neck, press into the palms of the hands for our cat pose. And just taking that a few more times at your own breath pace. Inhaling to cow, and exhaling to cat. Doing this however feels good, just gently warming up that spine. We're going to be doing a lot of work on our wrists and shoulders today. So making sure we are nice and warm. On your next exhale, meet in a neutral tabletop position and just begin to walk the hands back to sit back over the thighs. We're going to be stretching out our toes a little bit. So coming up, popping the toes under, maybe reaching back and making sure all toes are on the mat. My pinky toes sometimes get stuck a little bit. And just taking a breath here, allowing the feet to stretch. We spend so much time in shoes, decreasing our range of motion, so we're going to try and get that back. Taking one last breath here, and on your exhale, sitting back down to rest on the tops of the feet. We are going to be working our wrists a little bit, like I said, so go ahead and place them top of the hand down, and just take a second. Breathe into it. On your exhale, place the palm down. Once again, press into the palms. Again, bring the top of the hand down. Take a breath. Maybe even have your fingertips come back to face your knees. It's a little bit deeper of a stretch. And then on your exhale, come back up onto the palms of the hands. Walk them forward, coming back into our tabletop. We are going to be coming in to thread the needle again to stretch out that shoulder, prepare us for that shoulder work. Pressing more into the left hand. On the inhale, reach the right arm up. And exhale, thread the needle, bring that right shoulder down to the mat. You can reach the left arm up, and it can stay here if you'd like, or you can wrap it around the back to come into a slight bind. Taking 3 deep breaths here. On every exhale, allowing yourself to sink a little bit deeper. Hopefully feeling a nice stretch in that right shoulder. Not forgetting to breathe into the belly here with every breath. On your next exhale, go ahead and bring the left arm back up into the sky, but send it towards the front of your mat. So reaching it towards the front of the room. Palm down on the floor. If you'd like, you can come up onto spider fingers, this time to stretch through the left shoulder. Taking a breath here. Exhale, release back down onto the palm of your hand and slide that hand back to help press yourself up once again into that tabletop position. Doing the same thing on the other side, more weight into the right hand. Inhale to lift the left arm up and bring that left shoulder down to the mat, reaching the arm up and maybe twisting it behind your back to come into that slight bind. Again, we'll be here for 3 breaths. On every exhale, think about sinking just a little bit deeper into this pose. Releasing the neck, maybe closing the eyes, maybe noticing any tightness you have in your neck or upper shoulders, anything you'd like to work on throughout our practice today. On your next inhale, bring the right arm back up into the sky and send it towards the front of your mat, palm on the floor. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, maybe coming up onto spider fingers, pressing into the finger pads, reaching through that right shoulder. On your next exhale, release back down onto the palm of the hand, slide the arm back, and press yourself back up into that tabletop position. Now we're going to be making our way into child's pose, so maybe taking the knees a little bit wider, sending the hips back and reaching the arms forward as we bring that forehead down to the mat. Taking a few breaths here. Again, maybe noticing any tension in your shoulders or upper back, and sending your breath towards those areas of your body. If you'd like to deepen this stretch, maybe pressing into the palms of the hands to lift the forearms up off the mat, pressing into the shoulders, reaching through the sidelines of the body. On your inhale, pressing up into spider fingers, lifting the palms of the hands up off the mat, deepening that shoulder stretch here. On your next exhale, release the palms And the forearms back down to the mat. And take 3 more deep, restful breaths here. And whenever you are ready on an inhale, begin to tuck the toes under and send the hips up, coming into your first downward facing dog of the practice. Maybe pedaling it out here, sending one heel down and then the other. Spreading your fingertips wide, pressing evenly into the hands. If you feel a little unbalanced here, maybe taking your stance a little bit wider. Not feeling afraid to come off of your mat. It's just a little rectangle. Don't let it confine you. Taking a few nourishing breaths here. Working a little bit more on glute activation, we are going to gently bend the ankles, bend the knees to send our knees down as if coming into child's pose, but hovering above the mat. And inhale, press back into downward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose, hover, bend the ankles, bend the knees, hover above the mat. And exhale, back up, downward facing dog. Send the ankles down here. Press more into the hands. One more time. Exhale, child pose, hover, send the knees down, bend the ankles. And this time really squeeze the glutes to send the hips up. Again, bring the ankles down. Keep pedaling it out here. On your next exhale, begin to walk the hands out, coming into a nice high plank, high push-up position. If you'd like to, you can stay here, or you can take a chaturanga push-up either on your knees or on your toes by on the exhale, bringing the chest down towards the mat and pressing back up to plank. Nice job. Exhale, send the hips back into our downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, this time coming into a side plank by pressing more into the right hand, shifting over to lift the left arm up. Feet stack on top of each other. Taking a breath here. And exhale, release back down to that neutral plank. Send the hips back up, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, come forward, and exhale, chaturanga push-up. Chest down to the floor and pressing back up. Send the hips back to our downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank, moving into our side plank over towards the right side. Press more into the left hand. Stack the feet, lift the right arm up. Exhale, send the palm down back to the mat. Send the hips back up to downward facing dog. We're going to repeat that one more time. On your inhale, send the weight forward, high plank, high push-up position. Exhale, chaturanga push-up. Bring the chest down and press it back up. Send the hips back to downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, side plank towards the left side, reaching the left arm up. Now, if you'd like to challenge yourself a little bit more, maybe come into a nice tree side plank by bringing the top left leg up to rest on the lower leg. Exhale, back to that neutral plank. Send the hips up, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the weight forward, chaturanga push-up, chest to the floor. Press yourself back up, and exhale to downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale, send the weight forward. Exhale, over towards the right side, lifting that right arm up, coming into that side plank. Maybe taking that tree variation. Exhale, return back to that neutral plank. Send the hips up, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths. Hopefully feeling a little bit warmer, especially in the shoulders and the wrists. Bending ankles, hips, and knees. Begin to walk the hands back, coming into a nice forward fold. Big bend in the knees here. Gently stretching out the backs of those legs. Maybe taking ragdoll by grabbing opposite elbows. Releasing the neck down, and on every exhale, allowing your upper body to sink closer to your legs. On your next exhale, release the arms down. Press through the feet to send the arms up, bringing them over our chest. And exhale, releasing them down. Nice job moving to the top of our mat. We're going to be coming into a tree pose, or a balancing pose. So putting more weight into the right leg, go ahead and lift the left leg up. Coming into tree. Making sure not to put any weight on that standing leg, but knowing that you can have the foot above or below that knee, whatever is most comfortable for you. Inhale, extending the arms up, reaching up through the spine. Staying here if you're comfortable, or if you'd like to challenge yourself, beginning to tilt towards that bent knee, tilting towards the left side. And inhale back through center. Exhale, tilting away from the bent knee. And inhale back through center. Again, exhale towards the bent knee. And inhale back through center, playing with that balance. One more time, exhale away from the bent knee. And inhale back through center. Wonderful job. We are going to be not setting this leg down, but instead bringing it up. If you need to, you can of course put the foot down in between this. Next, inner spiral that thigh and bring the left leg to rest over the right. Keeping the arms out, slight bend in the standing leg here. Inhale, reaching up and sending our hands to rest over our chest. If you're comfortable, feel free to stay here, or if you'd like, on your exhale, you can begin to send the hips back. Sitting back into this pose. We are going to be here for 4 more breaths. And on every exhale, thinking about sending those hips a little bit deeper. If you need to, you can of course come out of this pose at any time, but I encourage you to challenge yourself to find a place to focus on. Engage your core to lengthen through the spine, dorsiflex that right or that left foot. Keep sitting back into it. One more deep breath here. And on the inhale, extend back up, bring the knee up, and then exhale to set it down on the mat. Nice job. Inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, sit back into our tree pose, or our chair pose. Take a breath here. Again, we'll be holding this for 4 breaths. On your next exhale, begin to bring the hands down over the chest and sink a little bit deeper. On your next exhale, begin to tilt towards the right side of the room so that the right elbow is pointed up, the left elbow is pointed down. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Bring the left elbow to rest over the right thigh. Again, we are here for about 4 breaths. Looking down at your knees. If one is protruding in front of the other, specifically the right, go ahead and squeeze the right glute to even that out. Begin to take some of the weight out of your left foot. Maybe bringing up the heel or wiggling the toes. And then begin to squeeze the left glute in to pull that heel up towards the glute and extend the leg back. Taking a breath. Again, we are here for about 4 breaths. Squeezing that right glute to even out the hips, engaging the core. On your next inhale, beginning to pull the arms up. Go ahead and inner spiral that back foot and open the arms up into our warrior 2. Here, thinking about twisting the thoracic spine, reaching the arms out as we lift up into the spine. Squeezing this back left glute to open up through the hips. And breathing. Moving into our peaceful warrior. On the exhale, reach the right arm over. Bind the left arm behind the back. Nice side body opener. We'll be here for about 4 breaths. Again, engage the core, engage the glutes. Don't lose that bend in your front leg. Keep reaching the right arm over even higher. On your next inhale, coming back up through center, and exhale over to extended side angle. Right forearm to right thigh, reaching the left arm over. On the exhale, pull the left elbow back to twist open the spine or the chest and reach the arm over once again. One more time, exhale, pull the elbow back to spin the chest, and inhale, reach the arm over. Engage the core, take some of the weight out of that forearm. On your next inhale, moving back through center, we are going to be transitioning into our crescent lunge. So gently begin to shift the hips towards the front of the room, pop the back left heel up off the mat, and reach the arms up. On every inhale, reach a little bit higher. Every exhale, sink a little bit deeper into this front leg. Engage the left glute to even out the hips. We are here for 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, we are going to be transitioning into our warrior 3, bringing our hands down over our chest and gently shifting our weight forward into that standing right leg. Slight bend in the knee. Go ahead and dorsiflex the back left leg and hinge at the hips as you squeeze that left glute to come down into our warrior 3. Nice straight line from the top of the head all the way down towards that back ankle. Finding a spot to focus on. We are here for 3 more breaths. I know you can do it. Keep thinking about pointing those back toes down towards the mat, squeezing that back left glute, reaching out towards the top of the head. On your next inhale, gently hinge at the hips, but don't set that left leg down on the mat. Go ahead and pull it up. Nice job in front of you. Now, if you'd like, you can go ahead and reach down with your left hand and extend that leg forward. It doesn't have to be totally straight. Mine definitely isn't. Just doing your best here. If you'd like, you can try and come out to the side. You can also just grab the top of your leg and bring it out without that extension. Whatever feels good in your body in this moment. On your next exhale, release that foot down to the mat as we reach the arms up. Bring them down over our chest. An audible exhale, release. Awesome job. Go ahead and we're going to shake out both of our feet, starting with go ahead and put more weight into the right foot, lift up the left, and just shake out the ankle. Move up to the knee, shake it out, and up to the hip, gently rotating back and forth. And exhale, set it down. Same thing on the right side, more weight into the left leg, and just shake out that right ankle. Move up to the knee, and then rotate the hip. Awesome job. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So putting more weight into our left leg or right leg, go ahead and lift the left leg up and place it anywhere on your leg for tree, remembering not to put any pressure on that standing knee. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, reach the arms out. We're going to play around with our balance a little bit. On the inhale, go ahead and reach towards that bent knee, and exhale back through center. Inhale over to the other side, and exhale back through center towards that bent knee again, and exhale back to center. One last time, other side, trying to keep your balance here, and exhale to release. Awesome job. Go ahead and lift that knee up. An inner spiral to set the left leg over the right, reaching the arms up, and exhale, sitting back into this pose. Again, we'll be here for about 5 breaths. On every exhale, allowing yourself to sink a little bit deeper, remembering to point those left toes towards the mat, engaging those glutes, lengthening through the spine, engaging the core, and finding your spot to focus on. Really relying on the breath here for that balance. On your next inhale, begin to extend back up, pull the knee up, and exhale, release it down on the mat. Inhale, reaching the arms up, and exhale, sitting back into our chair pose. Reaching through the fingertips, engaging the glutes here, reaching through the side bodies to lengthen even more. On your exhale, bringing your hands over your chest and sinking just a little bit deeper. On your exhale, beginning to twist towards the left side, bringing that left elbow up, right elbow pointed down. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper, bring the right elbow to rest on top of the left thigh. Look down at your knees. If they're uneven, maybe squeeze that left glute to pull them back to center. Again, taking about 4 breaths here, engaging your core, engaging the glutes, pressing into the hands, and beginning to take some weight out of that right foot. Lifting up first the heel, maybe the toes, and then squeezing that right heel towards that right glute, pausing and setting that leg back. Again, taking a few nourishing breaths here, squeezing that left glute back, and breathing into this twist. Making our way into our warrior 2. Inhale to bring the hands into the chest to twist it towards the front of the room. Inner spiral the back heel and open the arms up. Coming into our warrior 2. Lift up through the spine, reach out through the arms, reach out through the fingertips. Squeeze the back right glute to open up through the hips. Continuing to breathe here. Even in our pauses, making these very active poses. In our exhale, moving into our peaceful warrior, reaching the left arm over, right hand comes behind the back. Side body stretch. Reaching that left arm up even closer to that right or that left ear. And continuing to breathe. On the exhale, coming back up through center and moving into our extended side angle. Left forearm to left thigh, reaching the right arm over. On the exhale, bend the right elbow to spin open the chest. And inhale, reach the arm back up by the ear. Exhale, bring the elbow back, spin the chest even more open. And exhale, bring that arm up by the ear. Engage the core, lift some of the weight out of that forearm. And on your next inhale, moving back up through center. We're going to be making our way into our crescent lunge. So beginning to shift our weight so that the hips are even. Popping the back right toes, reaching the arms up. On the inhale, lengthening, reaching through the spine, reaching through the fingertips. On the exhale, sinking deeper into that front leg. Continuing to focus on the breath here, making this a very powerful move. Bringing that left hip back, squeezing those glutes. On your next exhale, bringing the hands to rest over the chest. We'll be transitioning into our warrior 3. On the inhale, shift the weight forward to extend the front leg. Nice micro bend. Back foot is dorsiflexed. On the exhale, hinge at the hips. Squeeze the right glute to lift the leg up. Nice straight line from the head all the way down to the ankle. Not mattering where that back leg is, it can be just barely up off the mat, or you can be all the way down, whatever feels comfortable for you. Holding here for 2 more deep breaths. On your inhale, hinging at the hips, bringing the right leg up. Maybe here, taking that extended leg, taking a breath, and bringing it out to the side. Again, if you'd like, you can just grab the shin and pull the knee up and out. On your next exhale, releasing that leg down, reaching the arms up, bringing the hands over your chest, an audible exhale. Awesome job. On your next inhale, again, reaching the arms up. This time, we're going to be hooking fingers, so hooking thumbs. And on your exhale, bending over towards the left side, Taking a breath. Inhale back through center. Exhale, release the hands. Cactus the arms out. Slightly bend the knees to open up through the chest. Inhale back through center. Hook thumbs. Exhale over towards the left side. Inhale back through center. Again, exhale, cactus the arms. Gently bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up again. Bring the palms together. Rest them over your chest. And audible exhale. Awesome job. If you would like to, you can grab some water, take a little break. We're going to be moving into the rest of our class in just a second. So whenever you are done getting that water, we're going to be meeting at the top of our mat and moving into our next sequence via a sun salutation A. So moving up to the top of our mat, feet hip length apart. On the inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, coming up halfway, flat back, hands to the shins. And exhale, releasing down into a forward fold, bending the knees, palming the floor, and stepping back to our high plank, high push-up position. Now, just like earlier with our chaturanga push-up, you can feel free to add that in, or on your exhale, you can just begin to bend the elbows, bring the chest down to the mat, and come all the way down. Pressing into our cobra pose, or yes, our cobra pose. You can go ahead and press up into the tops of the feet and the palms of the hands so that there are only 4 points of contact. And on your exhale, rolling over the feet, coming into our downward facing dog and taking a couple breaths here. We are going to move into some more lengthening poses, still making them very active. These are poses that you can very easily just hang out in and do without truly activating and putting some momentum and purpose into these poses. So I encourage you, even if it feels a little bit easy, engage your core, squeeze your glutes, and it will allow you to get the most out of them. So on your inhale, beginning to reach the right leg up. Inhale, pull the knee into the chest, and pause here. Pull the knee a little bit closer, and exhale back to three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to chest once again, this time crossing over the midline towards that left elbow. Pull it a little bit closer, and exhale, three-legged dog again. Inhale, knee to chest, this time coming over towards the right elbow. Pause and pull it a little bit closer, and exhale, three-legged dog. Last time, inhale, knee to chest, pause and pull it a little bit closer, and then set it between your hands at the top of your mat. On your exhale, go ahead and release the back left knee down to the mat. Place the left hand firmly on the mat and reach the right arm up. On your exhale, wrap the right hand behind the back, coming into a slight twist. Continuing to breathe here, truly trying to breathe into the belly. On your inhale, reaching that right arm up once again, placing it down on the mat as we heel toe the right foot out just a little bit farther. Go ahead and bring that right hand on the inside of that foot and exhale down onto the forearms, coming into our lizard pose. With that right leg, pull in towards the midline, squeeze the inner thigh. Press down into the foot and exhale, sink a little bit deeper into this pose. We are here for 2 more breaths. If the forearms is too intense, you can of course rest on the palms of your hands, or if you'd like to go even deeper, you can try to get your forehead on the mat. On your next inhale, if you are down any deeper than your palms, go ahead and press back up onto the palms of the hands and heel toe the foot across the mat, coming into our pigeon pose. So on the exhale, coming down onto your forearms or the palms of your hands, squeezing that back left glute to open up through the hips even more. Maybe resting your forehead and your hands are on the mat and allowing yourself to sink into this hip opener. We will be here for about 3 more breaths. On your next inhale, pressing back up onto the palms of the hands. Taking a breath, popping back onto those left toes, lifting the left knee, and stepping back to our high plank, high push-up position. Taking our vinyasa once again on the exhale, go ahead and press down into chaturanga. Moving through your cobra variation and back into downward facing dog whenever you are ready. Taking a few breaths here, pedaling it out. On your next inhale, pressing more into the right foot, lifting the left heel up, 3-legged dog. Inhale, pull the knee into the chest. Pause and pull it closer. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, knee to chest, this time crossing over the midline towards that right elbow. And exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, knee over towards the left elbow. Pause, pull it closer. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Last time. Inhale, pull the knee into the chest. Pause, pull it closer. And this time, set it between the hands at the top of the mat. Go ahead and release your right knee down onto the mat. Press firmly into the right palm and lift the left arm up, coming into a nice twist. If you'd like, you can wrap that left arm behind the back, deepening this stretch. Pulling that left knee in towards the midline. Squeezing the right glute to even out the hips. And on your exhale, deepening into the stretch. On your next inhale, bringing the left arm back up into the sky and bringing it down to the inner part of the left leg. Go ahead and heel toe that left foot over towards the edge of the mat and exhale to release down, maybe onto the forearms, coming into this lizard pose. Again, pull the inner thigh in towards the midline, squeeze the back right thigh or glute to open up even more into this stretch. And bring it back to that belly breathing once again. On your next inhale, pressing back up into the palms of your hands and gently heel toeing that foot over, preparing to come into pigeon. So bringing the leg down to the mat, exhale, releasing over onto your forearms, squeezing that right glute to even out the hips. Maybe bringing your forehead down to rest on your hands or on the mat, releasing the neck, and allowing yourself to sink down into this pose. Taking a few breaths. Taking your final breaths. Beginning to make your way back up onto the palms of the hands and gently pressing back up onto those right toes, lifting that right knee and stepping back to that high plank, high push-up position. On your next exhale, begin to come down onto the forearms and maybe interlace the fingertips. Working some more on shoulders here, but sparing the wrists. On your next inhale, begin to lift the hips up as you press to the forearms to come into our dolphin pose. Taking a breath here. On your exhale, come back onto that forearm plank. Engage the core, engage the glutes. Press to the forearms to lift up through the shoulders. On your next exhale, send the hips back up. Press to the forearms, come into that dolphin pose. Take a breath. Exhale back to forearm plank. Again, squeeze the glutes, engage the core, press through the forearms. On your next exhale, again, send the hips up. Last time, I promise this time we are going to be in this dolphin pose for about 5 breaths. So pressing through the forearms here, pressing through the shoulders, lifting up through the hips, stretching the back of the legs. Remembering to breathe into the belly and thinking about breathing into the back body. On your next exhale, making your way back into that forearm plank and stepping up into that high plank. On your next exhale, sending the hips up, coming into that downward facing dog. Taking that same sequence we did earlier, seeing if we are a little bit more exhausted or a little bit more warm. We're going to bring the weight forward into our high plank, high push-up position, and exhale, chaturanga push-up. Send the hips back up, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the weight forward, moving into our side plank. Lifting the left arm up. Maybe challenging yourself by taking that tree variation, or maybe coming into our star plank by lifting that top left leg up into the sky. Whoop. A little bit too much for me today, obviously. And exhale, back to high plank. Send the hips up, downward facing dog. Again, shift the weight forward, chaturanga push-up. Bring the chest down and press yourself back up. Exhale, send the hips back and up, downward facing dog. One last time, inhale, shift the weight forward. Bring the right arm up into the sky, side plank. And maybe challenge yourself by taking one of those variations. Really maybe challenging yourself to take that star plank. Maybe finding one side's easier than the other. And exhale, high plank, send the hips back up, downward facing dog. Begin to bring the knees down to the mat, coming into our child's pose. Bringing the forehead down, reaching the arms forward. And beginning to gently bring our heart rate down. Focusing on that breath. We'll be here for about 10 breaths. If you need to get any water, we'll be making our way into the cool down phase of our practice. We've still got a little bit of core work to do in our cool down. So on your next inhale, shifting the weight forward into the hands, coming into a nice tabletop position. Shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Making our way into bird dog. On your next exhale, go ahead and shift your weight in the right foot back. And reach your right arm forward as you squeeze the left glute to lift up that left leg. Toes pointed down towards the mat, dorsiflexing that foot, squeezing that left glute to lift that leg a little bit higher. If you're comfortable staying here, or maybe bringing that arm out towards the right, towards the side, to challenge yourself a little bit. Now, similar to what we did earlier with thread the needle, we are going to be threading this right arm through and bringing that right shoulder down to the mat, while keeping that back left leg up off the mat. So on your next exhale, gently thread the right arm through, bend the left elbow, pull the right shoulder down towards the mat, continuing to squeeze that glute. And inhale, pressing back up, bringing that right hand back out to the side. Again, squeezing that left glute, pulling that left leg a little bit higher. We're going to do this 2 more times. On your next exhale, pull the right shoulder down towards the mat. Taking a breath here, squeezing that left glute higher. And inhale, back up, bringing the right arm out to the side. One last time, continuing to squeeze that left glute. Exhale, thread the arm through, right shoulder towards the mat. Taking a breath here. And inhale, coming back up through center. Pausing, squeezing that left leg one more time. And exhale, releasing the right hand and the left leg down to the mat. Shifting the hips from side to side. I know we've done a lot of wrist and glute work today. I promise we're almost there. Meeting in that neutral tabletop position, go ahead and bring those left toes back, extending that right leg. On the inhale, shifting so that the left arm comes up, squeeze the right glute to lift up into our bird dog. Again, if you're comfortable, maybe staying here or bringing that left arm out to the side, preparing for that thread the needle variation. On the exhale, thread the left arm through, bringing the left shoulder down to the mat, keeping that right glute up. Inhale, pressing back up, bringing the left arm out. On the exhale again, bring the left shoulder down to the mat, thread that arm through, continuing to squeeze that glute. Inhale, pressing back up, bringing the arm back out to the side. One more time, continuing to squeeze that right leg. Go ahead and pull that leg a little bit higher. On the exhale, bring the left shoulder down to the mat, thread it through. Taking a breath here. And inhale, coming back up through center. Pausing for one more second, squeezing that right glute just a little bit more. And exhale, bringing that hand and that knee down to the mat. Go ahead and sit back on your legs. And again, just stretch out your wrists, bringing the top of the hands down to the mat. And then shifting back towards the palms. Top of the hands down on the mat once again, this time with the fingers pointing towards the knees. Taking one more breath here. And coming back so that palms are on the floor once again. On your exhale, shifting over onto that left hip and swinging the legs around the right side. Almost done with our practice. So that we are sitting with our feet flat on the floor, knees are facing up and together, coming into a little bit more core work before we end our practice. Hands are flat on the floor, supporting our spine. And on the inhale, you can lift the knees up to boat. On your next inhale, maybe bring your hands up, coming next to your legs. And we'll be working on our extended boat a little bit today. This time not hovering over the mat, but just extending our legs out. On your next inhale, try to straighten the legs, coming into our full boat. If you need to, you can of course have the hands next to your side. And exhale, bend the knees. Again, inhale to straighten the legs, coming into our full boat. Press into the spine, pull the shoulders back. And exhale, bend the knees. One more time, inhale, straighten the legs. Pull the shoulders back, come into our nice boat pose. And exhale, bend the knees. Nice job. We're going to be coming down into a laying down position. We're almost there. On the exhale, gently extend the legs to hover above the mat. Holding for 2 breaths. You got this. Squeeze the glutes, reach through the feet. And on your next exhale, release all the way down onto the mat. Taking a nice big exhale. On your next inhale, pull both knees into the chest, gently rocking side to side. On your next inhale, bend your knees so that there is a 90-degree angle. We're going to be moving into an eagle variation of a twist. So taking the right leg and crossing it over the left. Maybe trying to wrap that foot around the bottom if you can, that's totally fine. Extending your arms out. And on the exhale, shifting the weight over to allow the feet to fall towards the right side. Allowing that right hip to come up off the mat. Not trying to keep that left shoulder on the mat. And taking a breath here. Maybe closing your eyes. And releasing any stress. On your next inhale, moving back through center, untwisting the legs, And this time twisting the left leg over the right. On your exhale, allowing the legs to fall towards that left side. Again, not caring if that right hip comes up off the mat. On your next inhale, moving back through center, unwrapping the knees and pulling the knees in towards the chest once again. Rocking back and forth, massaging that lower back. Maybe moving into happy baby by grabbing the big toes or the outside of the foot. And again, continuing that gentle rock side to side. And whenever you're ready, gently releasing the feet and allowing yourself to extend on the mat. Arms can be by your side, or maybe you'd like to extend them out in that cactus shape, just like we did at the beginning of our practice, opening up through the chest. Again, bringing it back to your breath. And on every exhale, allowing yourself to sink deeper into the mat. We'll be moving through 10 counted breaths together. So on your next exhale, releasing completely. And inhale 1. Exhale 1. Inhale 2. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Inhale 4. Exhale 4. Inhale 5. Exhale 5. Inhale 6. Exhale 6. Inhale 7. Exhale 7. Inhale 8. Exhale 8. Inhale 9. Exhale 9. And inhale 10. And exhale 10. Returning again to your own breath. Truly releasing yourself. If you have the time, I encourage you to stay in this Shavasana, continuing maybe to count breaths. On your next exhale, gently roll onto your favorite side, resting your head in your hands. Thanking yourself for making time to come onto your mat today. And using as little energy as possible and keeping the top leg heavy. Beginning to press yourself up into a cross-legged position. Maybe keeping your eyes closed this whole time. And on your inhale, reaching the arms up. Bringing the palms together and resting them over your chest. Thank you all so much for joining me for this practice today. Namaste. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you could, before you log off, go ahead and fill out the little survey in the description box down below. I would really, really appreciate it. Love to hear something that you enjoyed about the class, as well as any ideas that you have maybe for next time. And I will see you all in our next Power Yoga class. Thanks so much.